No caulk needed because this is flashed over. Not sure why others have not caught on to this, but you can see it makes a beautiful assembly without a whole lot of caulk. No caulk needed. Some assembly required. Good morning and welcome to another episode of Exteriors by Gary Whillock. If this is your first visit to our YouTube channel, your first video to see, a very special welcome to you, and we'd love to see you subscribe. Just click that button and you'll see more of what's coming up. Now today, you don't get more basic than this in a ReRoof. This is a ReRoof that is on a very easy to walk on home. It's very low to the ground, very low pitch, very easy to do for roofing. However, that doesn't mean that it is simple, and most roofers don't take the time to get these little points right. Now we're going to be addressing a few things on this morning and throughout the day. One thing I'd like to capture, and I hope I can, is how we do the B vents. The double flashing or the base flashing, one with the underlayment and the other with the shingles. And then we install a storm collar on the top layer base flashing, and that storm collar is then protected by a counter flashing, something we created several years ago so we don't have to rely on caulk on the B vent flashings. A B vent flashing is a flashing around a gas unit like a water heater or a heater that is burning gas for the gas fumes to escape. Therefore, it heats up a lot. Caulk never lasts on those. Now, the other thing that we just addressed is how to do the starter edge shingle. For example, this is a actual starter shingle. This is an Atlas roof, so it's an Atlas system except for the underlayment. Now, this is a very traditional of the past, not so much over the last decade or so, but this is a traditional asphalt underlayment that is a 30-pound, and it actually is ASTM D226. It is not your junk that you buy at the local stores. In fact, there's very few of the roofing supply stores even carry this anymore. It has a lot of asphalt in it, therefore it costs a little more money, and that means it's going to last and hold out the water. Now this actually got wet right after we installed it. Rain came in the following day and it puckered up. So we gave it all day yesterday, a nice sunshiny day to dry out. Now we're back this morning installing it. If you have asphalt felt and you get it wet, it will pucker up. It will just be a mess if you put the shingles on it. You'll never get the shingles to completely lay down. Now what I was talking about the drip edge, it's actually a DL style, and we're installing the DL style with the shingle flush to the edge. Now at the eave of the house we have the drip edge. At the eave of the house, this area is going to get gutters, but at the eave of the house we have the drip edge underneath the felt, and that allows any water that happens to get underneath, for example, if you have a blow off or big wind of any kind of water gets on the felt, to escape over the fascia, in this case into the gutters. But what we were talking about, because of this heavy duty felt, was where and how to start the shingles. Some people like to hang them over the drip edge. In this case, with a DL style, you don't have to do that. You already have a nice lip, about 3/4 of an inch sticking out with the drip edge itself, so you cut the shingles flush, and that will mean you can throw a ladder up against it and you're not squishing or breaking the edge of the shingles. And trust me, in 4 or 5 years you would break the edge of the shingles if indeed you used an L style, because shingles get a little more brittle as time goes. And I'm going to flip the camera around and we'll talk you through that one more time on the drip edge. Let's go take a look at the drip edge. L flashing drip edge is like this. You can actually see it sticks out. Has a little kick out right here, which is really good. Now the gutters are going to be going up under this. The painter is coming on Monday to do all the painting prior to the gutters going up. And you can see the felt has been cut back about halfway on the drip edge here. Now what that allows it to do is for that shingle, that starter shingle, to actually come flush like this. The starter shingle has the asphalt that helps seal the first shingle down. Very important to use a starter shingle. And then this will allow it to actually go down and lay flush with that drip edge, so the felt's not holding it up. As you can see, this true 30-pound felt is quite substantial in thickness and is a very quality product, and it's a shame more people don't use it. I find that it's holding water so much better than the synthetics that everybody's all excited about today. Here he is. You're getting the opportunity to see him install the valley. A good starting point for a dimensional shingle. You can see it goes all the way over that valley, and then the other one will cut into the valley from the other side, making a nice straight edge real close to the center of the valley. I like to stay about 1.5 inches or 2 inches out of the valley with that cut, and then dog ear each of the shingles. Now he's up to the B vent. This is where we install double flashing, actual metal flashing, not just the water barrier that we've got around it, but an actual flashing. You can see here the two different flashings. One is a part of the underlayment. Okay, so going underneath the shingles, this is a part now of the actual underlayment system. This gives us a chance too to center the pipe right in the hole. Is it good? And then that can be nailed down. Perfect. Then ice and water shield around that and underneath the felt above it. Now, had we not been hurrying because the rain was coming in, we could have gotten the new flashing, first flashing built in underneath, and I always prefer that. There was a couple of things. I think it was on a Friday. It was Good Friday. The actual flashing store was closed. We do not buy these at the local box stores. We get a better product than that. Now he's going underneath the felt above it. Again, it will not stick by just putting it on top. The guys who are doing it that way are just wasting material, wasting your money, and wasting their time. That is not effective. You have to do it in a traditional way where water flows over, and that's what he's doing. And then he's cutting it around the pipe and vent. So now that is a part of the underlayment system. Not a part of the shingle system. This is a part of the underlayment system. And again, this could have been done as we went, but we had several complications. One, trying to get it into the dry area, and two, get it back into, and you can just go ahead and just cut these straight. Right. Now, typically on the dry end stage, I have one of my employee technicians here to do these parts for them. However, this crew is doing such an outstanding job that we're going to start letting them do these parts and pieces on their own now. They have been so agreeable, willing, helpful to do things just as we ask them to, that we're going to turn this part over to them also. And now he'll go on up with the shingles and shingle around it in a very, very traditional basis, the way that most roofers do, with a few twists, improvements that we've added on how to nail it, how to fasten them down. You notice he nailed the first flashing. The second flashing on the bottom part will be screwed on. Now the base flashing goes just like that. Nailed at the top and on the sides and in the hidden areas. not at the bottom. We use 3 screws across the bottom that are 1.5 Tech screw, number 9 by 1.5, and that goes in the bottom of the base of the shingles. So they'll install 3 across this one and 2 on the lead pipe jacks. And on any other flashing that's exposed, that's what we use. Now what he's going to do now is install the storm collar. It slides down over, and we do not have to use a whole lot of pookie around it, caulking, adhesive, or anything like that. Instead, we use a counter flashing. Now, this is a single wall pipe. Do not get these at your big box stores. The ones at the big box stores are very, 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 very thin. All right, so he's just cutting it down to size. And here is the actual manufacturer, so you can see and order these if you like. They come from Langley, British Columbia in Canada. You snap those together, and most people have seen these single wall pipes. They're basically used for a lot of duct work and venting out of houses and so on. But you want to get a heavy duty one so it's going to last, and last. Snap them together. Now this happens to be a very short B vent. It looks better being short on the front of the house. Just going to trim it off just a little bit there. Straightening it up a little bit. Make it look round. Slide it over. Now the key here is the fact that it's going over. Oh shit. Sorry about that. Now the key is that this has a high lip on it, and this actually goes over that lip very, very, very well. And that makes it look very, very finished that way. You may need to cut a little more of that off.
Cut a little more?
Because I think this goes way down, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So make this just even with the pipe, and we're good to go. About a 1/2 inch. Okay, and then the cap goes on, and the cap has a piece that goes down in the pipe. And then once you get that in place, just a single screw up underneath the cap here holds the entire assembly together. No caulk needed because this is flashed over. Not sure why others have not caught on to this, but you can see it makes a beautiful assembly without a whole lot of caulk. No caulk needed. Some assembly required.